Aries, February is all about your friendships. I don't know if you're familiar with the TLC song, What About Your Friends? But in the song, it says, what about your friends? Will they stand their ground or will they let you down again? What about your friends? Are they going to be low down? Will they ever be around or will they turn their backs on you? That is the essence of what February means for you. With your season fastly approaching next month in March, this month is going to be all about reflection and cleaning house when it comes to who you call your friend and who you associate with. Want to know more? Keep watching and I'll explain all about it. Aries, what's going on? It's your girl Mel of Divine Feminine Works, and as always, I hope that this video finds you well and in excellent spirits. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. This channel is everything tarot, astrology, and spirituality. So if those are the things that interest you, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell, so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, Aries, this is going to be the astro forecast and tarot scope for you for February 2021. At the outset, I have to let everyone know that the astro forecast is based on your rising sign. So at least the first portion of this video is for Aries rising. That's not to say that if you're an Aries sun, you can't watch this video. I suggest that you watch the videos for your rising sign and your sun sign so you get a full picture of what the month looks like for you. And if you don't know what your rising sign is, visit a site like astro.com, and I'll put the link in the description box below. Put in your birth date, time, and location. The site will generate a natal chart for you, and you'll be able to figure out what your sun, moon, and rising signs are. So again, watch all the videos. Don't just watch the video that you believe is for your sun sign, because although the astro forecast is for your rising sign, the tarot may be for your sun sign or even your moon sign. So just basically, the advice is watch whatever videos speak to you, but just know that the astrology, I can't believe I said it like that. The astro forecast portion of the video is based on your rising sign, so just keep that in mind. All right, so now that we got the technical stuff out of the way, let's get into February for you. So February is arguably one of the most important months of 2021. It's sort of ground zero for this new foundation that we're building. I feel like 2020 was all about the breakdown. It's almost like 2020 was like a bulldozer that just came through and bulldozed everything. A lot of the programming, a lot of the way that we were thinking, everyone is starting to wake up, get out the matrix, and ascend. And I feel like 2021 is the beginning stages of that, but specifically February with all of this Aquarius energy is really ground zero for this new foundation that we're building. So it's really exciting times. It's really a great time to be alive. So think of it that way. I know that a lot of people think that 2021 is really like 2020 version 2, but it's really not. It's really not. I feel like the energy is different. We're on a different wavelength, at least for those of us that are like awake and are aware of what's really going on. So it's going to be a very interesting month. And Aquarius generally as a sign, since we're still technically in Aquarius season, even though we're at the very tail end of it when I'm filming this video, Aquarius energy is very much about liberation. It's about revolution, liberation, breaking the mold, thinking outside of the box, and it's also about futuristic thinking. So Aquarius energy is very forward-looking. It gets us to look ahead rather than at the past, and I think that's a great thing because it's almost like we're driving, right? And you see a car wreck, a crazy car wreck on the road, right? I feel like that car wreck was 2020. And although at the time we were really in it and we were like really looking at it, you're like looking at the wreckage and all that stuff, 2021 is all about looking ahead. It's all about looking forward, making plans for the future, and setting a foundation that's very different from the foundation and the structures that we knew in the past. So again, a really interesting time. So in February, we have 6 planets in the sign of Aquarius. That's why February is so pivotal of a month, because all of this Aquarian energy is just concentrated. It's like almost all of the planets are just congregating in Aquarius and just getting us to really look ahead. That's why this month is super important, right? So like I said, we've got 6 planets in the sign of Aquarius, all of this futuristic energy. So right now is the time to make good use of it. And for you, Aries, all of this is going down in your 11th house of friendship and goals. So the 11th house is sort of a nice house, right? It governs our friendships, like I said, social groups that we belong to. It's also this sense of humanity. It's more than just friendship and camaraderie and all of that stuff. 11th house is really about our role in society and in humanity. And Aquarius, when you talk about Aquarius, it's also about communing with like-minded individuals. So a lot of us now are really tuning into our soul tribe. We're really starting to congregate in groups with other people that think like us, that see the future like us. So it's this sense of camaraderie and togetherness that Aquarius energy really brings. And especially for you, Aries, since all of this energy is concentrated in your 11th house. The 11th house also governs goals and ambitions. It's also the house where they say you wish upon a star. So a lot of the things that you really want for your life, a lot of the things that you want to achieve, Aquarius energy has you really thinking about that. Particularly since Aquarius is an air sign, and air signs govern our communication and our ideas. So a lot of you may be thinking about your plans for the future. A lot of you may be strategizing and plotting and planning for the future. So you guys may really be in your head this month, at least while the sun is still in Aquarius, which technically it still is now. But come the end of this week and into March, the sun is going to move into your 12th house of Pisces. And when the sun moves into your 12th house, that is the time where you sort of withdraw from the world and where you focus on your solitude and you rest and recharge. This is particularly important for you because when the sun goes into your 12th house, that's always the season before your solar return. So for you, Aries, Pisces season is the season right before your birthday, right? And it's during that time where you sort of wind down, you relax, you recharge your batteries because you're about to embark on your personal new year when your solar return arrives. And so the sun in the 12th house is always marked by reflection and introspection. So by the time the sun gets into Pisces, you guys are going to be really looking at your life. You're going to be sort of resting, withdrawing from the world, and getting ready for a new revolution around the sun. So it's like you spend the first half of February like really being social and really communing with people, maybe a lot of online activity, and stuff like that. And then by the end of the month, it's time to get quiet and it's time to sort of internalize a lot of what you've learned over the last year and plan for the future. So February has you guys really in your heads and really looking ahead. So use the energy to your advantage, like I said, the 12th house, when the sun is in the 12th house, it's all about resting and recharging. So come Aries season in March, it's going to be go time. And that's going to be time for you to start implementing some of these plans that you're working on now. So again, use the energy to your advantage. All right, so let's move on to the moon, because this month we have a new moon in the sign of Aries. A new moon in the sign of Aquarius and a full moon in the sign of Virgo. So first things first, let's talk about the new moon. So the new moon already happened on February 11th, and it happened in Aquarius with everything else that's going on. And that new moon allowed us to set the seeds of what we want to grow in the future. It was very much an opportunistic new moon. I felt that really allowed us to think, plot, and strategize for whatever we want to grow in the future, like I just said. That was the new moon in Aquarius. And again, for you, Aries, that happened in your 11th house. So this was the time to start, again, planning for the future. I feel like I've said that 8 million times in this video already, but that's really the energy that you guys have available to you this month. So that was the time to start planning for the future, and not even just like saying like, oh, I want $1 million. It wasn't necessarily about just wishing for something, right? It was about thinking of ways to actually make those dreams come true. Since Aquarius is very much an air sign, right? It's all about plotting an actual strategy to get you to where you want to go. So with that new moon happening in your 11th house, whatever goals, whatever like lifelong dreams that you want to manifest in this lifetime, the time of the new moon was the time to actually start planning a way to make that happen, right? And being that Mercury was still retrograde at the time of the new moon, it wasn't the time to start acting. I think it was more so a time of reflection and a time to start getting things in order. I really think that the time for action for you will be once your season begins next month in March. But in any event, that was the energy that was available to you during the new moon. Now let's look forward to the full moon, which is coming up on February 27th. And this is Virgo, which is your 6th house of work and health. So for you guys, the full moon is going to be illuminating when it comes to issues regarding work or your health. So the full moon illuminates in sort of two ways. It can either show you the culmination of things done in the past. So think back to the Virgo new moon, which was about 6 months ago. Perhaps at that time you wanted to plant seeds related to work or your health. Maybe at that time you wanted to get healthy. You wanted to set a new diet. You wanted to start working out. You may have started that sort of project 6 months ago. This is Mercury retrograde at work, me with like my tongue tied and like speaking all crazy and whatnot. But in any event, 6 months ago, you may have wanted to start a new health regimen. And so this full moon may show you the culmination of that work that you did. So if you did the work, maybe now you've lost weight, you gained weight, or you've gotten your, cholesterol or hypertension or whatever under control. However, if you didn't really do the work, this full moon is going to show you where you've been lacking, right? So keep that in mind. The other way that the full moon can illuminate is that it can show you things that have been hidden in the dark. Particularly the fact that this full moon was happening at the 8th degree of Virgo, and the 8th degree is the Scorpio degree. This may have been something that has been hidden for a long time underneath the surface, and that may suddenly come to light. Not to mention the fact that this full moon is also going to be trine to Uranus. So there's going to be an element of surprise when it comes to this full moon. Perhaps maybe something at work comes up that's very surprising, that's been under the surface for a while and now is being unearthed. So this full moon could deal with your health. It could deal with work. It could deal with coworkers, customers, clients, all of that stuff. So all of that is fair game for the full moon that's again happening on February 27th. So now let's keep it moving. I already sort of alluded to this, but I wanted to speak about Mercury because Mercury has been on our lips since last month. So last month in January, Mercury went retrograde, and everyone knows how Mercury retrograde can be. Your laptop breaks, your phone starts acting crazy. There's accidents all over the place, the usual Mercury retrograde stuff. But what most people don't talk about with Mercury retrograde is the fact that it allows you to remember and it allows you to reflect on certain things. So for you, with Mercury being in your 11th house of friendship and goals, I feel like some of you are really reflecting on friendships that you've had. Some of you may be hearing from friends from the past that maybe you haven't heard from in a long time. Particularly the fact that Aquarius deals with the internet. For you guys, I feel like suddenly an old friend from high school may pop up on your Facebook feed and you're like, I haven't heard from this person in a while. Let me strike up a conversation. Something like that may have played out while Mercury was retrograde. For others of you, I feel like it is dreams and goals that you've wanted to achieve, particularly from the past, that you may be reflecting on. Maybe they're coming back up. Maybe they're now relevant at this time. So it allows you to reflect and remember, but it also, and by it, I mean Mercury retrograde, it also allows you a do-over or to redo something. So for some of you, this may be a great time to mend an old friendship that may have been broken. For others of you, it's now time to revisit and redo something that you've wanted to accomplish in this lifetime. So Mercury retrograde is actually a good thing. It's not just about crazy, wonky retrograde energy. It allows us to revisit the past and redo some of the things that maybe are important to us now. But Mercury is set to go direct in a couple of days, actually, on February 20th. And so once that happens, I feel like the status quo is going to be reestablished, right? No more wonky retrograde energy. Now we can move forward. So maybe this is the time now to move forward with certain friends or social groups. Or maybe this is the time to move forward and think about the future when it comes to certain goals and dreams that we have in this life. Particularly for you, Aries, again, because this is all going down in your 11th house, right? So that's Mercury. And then finally, I want to touch upon Venus, because Venus is transiting into 2 signs this month. So back on February 1st, Venus made her way into Aquarius with everything else. And so again, this is your 11th house of friendship and goals. So when Venus made her way into Aquarius, this was bringing people together. Again, with this going, see, I'm so like tongue-tied. I feel like my brain is moving faster than my mouth, and my mouth is trying to catch up, and this is the results, okay? Thanks for your patience. So Venus in your 11th house was bringing you together with like-minded people and finding the beauty in differences. Even though Venus in Aquarius can be very like factional, right? Like when you're finding your tribe, it's sort of sectioning everyone off into different groups. But I feel like the presence of Venus in Aquarius is allowing you to appreciate the differences with people. That's what makes us human, is our differences, right? And I feel like Venus gives you this sense of humanity and allows you to appreciate and love and find the beauty in differences within everyone within the collective. Also, I feel like with the presence of Venus in your 11th house, some of you may find love with a friend in your friend group, or you may just start a friendship that may blossom into a romantic relationship later on. But just know that any relationships that start with Venus in Aquarius, they're not necessarily going to be romantic and lovey-dovey. They're going to be very comfortable and friendship based. So, but I always feel like those are the best relationships, right? Like, side note, I feel like relationships should start off as friendships because you really get to know each other. There isn't the pressure of being in a romantic relationship. And I feel like that's a great foundation on which to build a romantic relationship. So for those of you that are single, if you're meeting someone right now, explore the friendship. Don't just throw someone in the friend zone and keep them there. Develop those relationships because they may turn into romance later on. Right? So that's Venus in Aquarius. And then by the end of the month on February 25th, Venus is going to make her way into Pisces. And when she does this, and this being your 12th house of solitude, confinement, and rest and relaxation, I feel like Venus is going to give you a very big sense of humanity, of charity, and of philanthropy. So I feel like Venus in this house, in your 12th house, is all about doing charitable work. It's all about love and being selfless when it comes to humanity. So for this month of February, Aries, you guys are very much feeling the collective. This isn't so much about your personal relationships, maybe your one-on-one relationships. I feel like the presence of Venus in your 11th and 12th house is all about love and appreciation in a humanity and collective sense. All right, Aries, that is pretty much the astro forecast for you guys for February. If you want to know more, I'm going to put the link to the monthly horoscopes in the description box below. Don't forget to check those out, read for your sun, moon, rising, and it'll give you a full picture of what February looks like for you. All right, so now that we've gotten the astrology out of the way, let's get into the tarot and see what messages Spirit has for you this month. All right, so we'll start off with the oracle cards for like an overall broad message, and then we'll circle back in with the tarot for some more specific stuff. All right, so the first card out for you, Aries. You can't even make this up. The first card out for you is friendship. Like I said in the astro forecast, your 11th house of friendship and goals is lit this month. So friendship is a big deal for you this month. Whether it's forging new friendships or whether it's sort of cleaning house with respect to the friendships that you already had. With the sun getting ready to make its way into your 12th house, and like I said, your 12th house is about rest, solitude. It's about examining your life, you know, like sort of like a life review as you get ready for a new revolution around the sun with your solar return and your birthday. I feel like some of you may be cleaning house when it comes to your friendships and taking stock of the friendships that you have. I don't know why I'm so tongue-tied and like weird today. I don't know, the energy is sort of wonky today, but let's continue. Yeah, some of you are really taking stock of your friendships. I love how these arrows are crossing, right? Because it sort of denotes that it's the midway point between where you and your friends meet, or sort of being like this with your friends, right? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but like you say when you're really close to someone, it's like you and this person are like this, right? That's the sort of energy that you guys want to have with your friendships. And I feel like any of those friendships that kind of aren't like this, I feel like you guys are going to be like, you need to let them go. I don't know if you guys are necessarily going to be proactive in letting them go, but I feel like maybe that's sort of where you're headed. But I feel like this message is going to be really interesting. So let's see what else we have here. We've got dreams coming true. Isn't that what I said about the 11th house? Like the cards, a lot of times tarot and astrology go hand in hand, and spirituality also. And I feel like this is also about making your dreams come true. This is all about what February is for you, with the presence, like with so many planets in the sign of Aquarius. Some of these are dreams, with this being a number 8. It's like dreams that you've had forever. Yeah, it's dreams that you've had forever that I feel like a lot of you have put on the back burner. Life will sometimes take us away from our dreams, right? A lot of times we have to focus on our responsibilities. So it's more so about doing what you need to do as opposed to what you want to do. But I feel like February is showing you, it has shown you, and it will continue to show you what it is that you really want and what is going to make life enjoyable for you. So pay attention to those. I feel like some of those feelings may be coming up this month. So when they do, don't ignore them. Really think about those things. And for some of you, I feel like it's these friendships that's going to bring up these emotions, right? Because friendships aren't just about people that we vibe with or people that we have fun with, right? Friendships can play a very important purpose on our life's journey. And a lot of times friendships can spark many things in us that we need to address. Sometimes friendships can be triggering, right? They can show us the things that maybe we need to work on, like issues with jealousy and things like that can be triggered by friendships at times to get us to work on things. But I feel like for you, Aries, friendships are going to trigger the dreams that you want to achieve. I feel like you're going to be communing with people who are going to revitalize and reignite the things that you want in this life, the dreams that you had. So pay attention not only to the friendships that you have, but also to what those friendships invoke and bring up in you this month. Oh, what was I just saying about like friends being triggering? We've got envy. And it says, I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Some of you, your friendships are going to trigger this in you this month. Or maybe you are doing that to your friends. Take it as it resonates. But there are going to be things that come up, both good and bad, with respect to your friendships that are really helping you recognize maybe what needs to stay and what needs to go in your life, and other things that you need to work on. Great stuff. All right, let's get into the tarot and see what else we got here. This is for Aries. Yep. We've got the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man is all about sacrifice, but it's also about seeing things from a different vantage point. You see how she's hanging upside down, and by her face there's this like enlightenment. There is enlightenment that comes through sacrifice, or being stuck in a position that allows you to see things in a different way. For some of you, there may be a rift in a friendship, or some sort of happening with respect to a friendship that's making you see things in a different way. If it's not making you see things in a different way, maybe it's time that you changed your point of view. But whatever it is, there's something going on with the friendship that is changing your vantage point for a very important reason. Let's see if we can figure out what that reason is. We've got the Two of Wands. It's about direction in life. Something about these friendships and whatever's going on with them is getting you, for some of you, it's getting you to change your direction in life. It's getting you to figure out which way do you want to go? Which path do you want to take? I feel like a lot of you know which path you want to take. You've just been sort of afraid to take it. And maybe not even afraid to take it. I think that there may have been things that are holding you back. For some of you, it is your friendships that are holding you back. So some of you may need to sort of let go of certain associations. For others of you, it's things like envy, jealousy, quote unquote, like low vibrational emotions that may be holding you back from either choosing a direction or going in a particular direction. Let's get some more cards out here. Death and rebirth. There are friendships that are definitely ending, or there are parts of you that are dying off. And I don't mean that in a literal sense. I mean it in the sense that if you've been dealing with envy or jealousy or anything like that, and it's sort of been underneath the surface, or you haven't processed it or really gone through it, that part is really going to come up right now so that you can end it and release it. So some of you may be going through a very difficult time in friendships. You may have friends that may be envious of you or jealous of you, and they're starting to sort of show that, right? Especially if some of you have dreams that you've been working on or dreams that you've had that are actually starting to materialize. Your friends with the envious eyes that are green with envy, they're probably coming up out the woodworks. People who you thought were going to be happy for you and clap for you and congratulate you are really giving you the side eye, are acting really shady, but that's for a reason. That's to let you know that this person is not really your friend and that they cannot come with you on this journey where you are experiencing a rebirth, right? And then we've got the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands speaks to an important message. It also speaks to you guys sort of finding and using your magic right now. Some of you are at the very beginning stages of creating something, whether that be a business, whatever it is. I think it has to do with a goal or a dream that you've had for a long time. And you're starting to manifest it, right? Maybe you've started, if you're talking about a business, maybe you finally opened up your business and you're letting people know, like, hey, so-and-so, we've been friends for a long time. You know, I'm starting this business. And instead of your friend being like, oh, word, that's dope. Like, tell me the information I need to tell other people. They're not like that. They're kind of like, well, why would you do that? Or do you really think that's a good idea? Or whatever. Like, they're being shady about it, probably because they're secretly jealous. Maybe they don't have the strength, or maybe they don't have whatever it is to start their own business, right? You know, it could be a variety of reasons. But you are just like, whoa, I really didn't expect them to react that way. That's you sort of seeing things from a different vantage point. Rather than like giving them a pass and just being like, oh, well, it's whatever. I feel like a lot of you are like, oh, so that's how so-and-so really feels. All right, maybe this is not someone I need to keep around me. Or even if you keep them around you, you know not to speak to them about your business. You know not to speak to them about any of that sort of stuff because you already know and can see that they're very envious about it. That's sort of how this is playing out for a lot of you. But whatever it is, you're in the beginning stages of something. And it's like many of you are experiencing, if you notice this card at the bottom, it says death and rebirth, and it has the infinity symbol, you know, in between it. We go through death and rebirth on a regular basis. So I feel like some of you may be coming out of a situation that has ended in your life and you're on the rebirth part of it. Particularly with Saturn and Jupiter having left Capricorn and now going into Aquarius, and in Aquarius, I feel like that's sort of a death and rebirth for all of us on a collective level. And so maybe when Saturn and Jupiter were in Capricorn, you guys were experiencing a lot of death. You guys were experiencing endings, hardships, all of that stuff. And now that they've transited into Aquarius, now you guys are on the rebirth part of it and you're starting something new. And you really may be following your heart's desires. You really may be following your dreams right now. And some of your friends are not, they don't have the courage to do it themselves. And so they're looking at you sideways, or they're throwing shade your way, or, you know, you get the point. But I feel like that's what a lot of you are encountering right now. Okay, let's get some more cards out here. All right, we've got the Chariot, and this is moving forward. Spirit is moving you forward right now. So if there was a standstill, particularly as it relates to something new you've been working on, I feel like in the near future, you're going to be moving forward. There isn't going to be that stagnancy anymore. You're coming out of, what I'm hearing is that for some of you, once you realize this thing about your friends, whether they're envious, jealous, or even if you realize that you are reacting this way towards your friends, it could be vice versa. I feel like once you realize that and see things from a different perspective, that's when you're going to move forward. That's when you're going to not experience this suspension or stagnancy. It's like when you have that aha moment, that's when things finally start moving for you. All right. We've got the Queen of Cups. So for some of you, this friend could be a water sign, which is Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. For others of you, your intuition is lit right now. And you're sort of like, okay, so-and-so is acting shady, but I really think it has to do with them being envious or some other sort of issue with them. But whatever it is, your intuition is lit right now. For others of you, your intuition is lit, not necessarily with respect to your friends, but to respect to this dream that you have. You're following your intuition now, as opposed to just doing what you need to do or just thinking about responsibilities. Now you're tapping into your intuition, and your intuition is guiding you towards the dreams that you want to fulfill in this life. All right, let's get 2 more cards with this deck. Perfect. I love this. Aries, you have quite a bit of fire energy here, which is great. And we follow that up with the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands is victory. For others of you, this is like being thrust into the limelight. You see, I don't know if you could tell by the looks of this card, but this is like a performer. And she's got this whole audience like behind her. So some of you are getting public recognition. Others of you are just really being out there, and it's not rubbing some of your friends the right way. Some of them, it's triggering them. Your success and your courage to put yourself out there is really triggering to some of your friends right now. Even if it's not some of your friends, like people that you call your friends or people that you're close to, maybe people that you associate with. Aquarius energy is not just about like your close friends. It's also about people that you associate with. So maybe you are on, you're in a Facebook group with people who congregate around the same idea, right? And maybe people see you being vocal in these groups, or people see you expressing your opinion and getting, likes or subscribers or whatever. And, some of them are just like, oh, why does this person think they're so special? Or, they're secretly envious of you. So that's also how this could play out. But whatever it is, you guys are enjoying a certain level of recognition right now. Okay. And then we've got the Page of Cups. And being that you guys are a fire sign, I can't necessarily say that you guys aren't tapped into your emotions, but I do feel like some of you are learning to examine your feelings, which may be a little uncomfortable. I also see that for some of you, this may have to do with kids. Some of you may be having kids, or some of you may be planning to get pregnant or just on the family track, and some of your friends are envious of that. Others of you could just be very young. I'm getting a lot of young energy here. So some of you who are watching this could be very young. Others of you could have friends that are very immature, who are very young-minded, who are just very young. I'm getting a lot of young energy right now. But again, also some of you could just be understanding what it is to examine your emotions. Some of you could be learning how to create and manifest things now. Again, especially things that you've been really hoping for, wishing for, etc. Others of you, these friendships could be very young, meaning that these are friendships that you haven't had for a long time. I'm also getting some of you who are like, if these friendships just started, I hear like they're very new, but I also like you guys are like, oh, that's my bestie, but you haven't known them for a long time. Yeah. Some of you could be having sex with this friend. I'm just gonna keep it 100, like I'm hearing it right now. Like some of you, this friendship is like a friend with benefits kind of situation. And those can be really difficult to deal with when there's envy involved. Like if you have a new relationship, particularly with what I was saying before in the astral forecast with Venus and Aquarius, how some of you may be finding love amongst your friends. When you start having sex with someone and then issues of envy and jealousy come up, those can be really dangerous situations. So you really need to keep your eye out if that resonates with you, if this portion of this message resonates with you, because mixing sex with jealousy and envy can make a very dangerous situation. So keep that in mind if that applies to you. But yeah, some of you are really just learning how to deal with your emotions. Some of you, again, this may be the reverse, and you have friends that are triggering issues of envy and stuff, and you're learning how to deal with that and how to process that. That's the part of your ego that has to die off right now. Let's get some clarification on this death and rebirth. I want to see what that's all about for you. We've got the Three of Pentacles. So there's something that you've been working on. And remember I said this was really when like Saturn and Jupiter were in Capricorn and things were dying off. For some of you, you could have lost your job around that time. Or the end of last year, you guys could have lost your job. And now you're starting something new. This could be a new job that you had your heart set on for a long time. This could be opening up your own business, something that's completely different than what you were doing before. And it's bringing up envy around the people around you. Let's get another card on this. Okay, that flew out. We've got adjudication. So some of you, it could have been, I don't know if you worked in law, or there could have been a very final decision. So again, I'm getting like, yeah, some of you were like fired, I think. Fired, laid off. I mean, you know the deal. But something with work definitely ended. There was a final decision that was made that ended something for you in your life. But now you're on the rebirth portion of this, and you're creating new things. And I think that some of you, it's not even, some of you are getting new jobs, right? But a lot of you are creating something, whether it's wealth, whether it's stability. You have a hand in your stability and your wealth right now. And some people, it's this energy of courage that you have, because I feel like some of your friends may have been looking at you like, yo, she had a whole ending, lost her job, and now it's like she's taking matters into her own hands and really putting, I'm saying her, I don't know why. This could relate to a female or someone that carries feminine energy. It's like she's taking matters into her own hands and creating her own stuff. And they're like, I don't have the courage to do that. Even if I lost my job, I don't know what I would do. Like they would live in a state of despair, and they see you turning that ending into a brand new beginning. And some of them are like flabbergasted. Some of them like they really can't believe it. And it's triggering the fuck out of them right now. Or vice versa, take it how it resonates. But yeah, it's all about examining your friendships and where you want to go right now, Aries. And some of y'all need to clean house, or some of you need to just examine your emotions with respect to everything that's been going on. All right, let's get 3 astrology cards to close out this reading. Okay, first card, we have North Node is destiny. I feel like whatever you guys are creating right now, it is definitely a part of your destiny. I feel like some of you are on the path of your life purpose right now. That's probably why you had an ending before, because whatever you're doing, whatever you were doing may not have been in alignment with your life purpose. And now you guys are following your North Star. And some people, again, they just don't have the courage to do that themselves. And so they look at you with envy and throw shade on your whole situation. But keep going. That's the message with this North Node card, is keep going. Some of you look at your natal chart and look at where your North Node is. I feel like that may clue you in as to where you're headed, or where you'd like to go, or what your dreams are, or whatever. So check that out also. All right, let's get another one out here. Okay, we've got the sun. Sun is all about shining, right? The sun is in your, and again, this goes back to friendship, because the sun is in your 11th house of friendship right now. And the sun is shining a light. It's like the sun is shining a huge flashlight on your friendships and associations. And is like, well, this person is envious of you, or this person really has like bad intentions for you. Is this how you want to move forward? Are these the people that you want in your circle? The sun is what is shining a light on all of that right now. Let's get one more. Okay, we've got the second house of assets. And the second house also speaks to the things that we value. What is it that you value in your friendships? And do the people around you reflect that value system? That is what is happening for you this month, Aries. And that is what the sun is shining a light on. What do you value in your friendships? So it might be a tough month for you, especially when you're dealing with things like this, especially when you're dealing with friends. You've also gone through this period of endings, and you're on this path to rebirth. So this could be a pretty heavy month for you, Aries. But I feel like all in all, when everything is said and done, and when your birthday rolls around, if you take my advice and really examine your emotions with respect to your friendships, the people that you have around you, the people with whom you associate, and sort of clean house, I feel like the time your birthday rolls around, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel better, right? You're going to have more perhaps positive energy around you. And I feel like you're going to be well on your way to achieving your dreams and following your life purpose. All right, Aries, that has been your astro forecast and tarot scope for the month of February 2021. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important message from this reading. Speaking of readings, if you'd like to book a personal reading with me or order an astrology report, those links are in the description box below. So click on those, check those out, and schedule. Also, while you're checking things out, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Divine Feminine Works. Every week I do a series called The Week Ahead, where I do a reading just like this, a quick and dirty tarot reading, as well as astral forecast for the upcoming week. That link is in the description box as well. Check that out and follow me over there. As always, Aries, everything I do is a labor of love and comes straight from the bottom of my heart. If you feel so inclined and would like to tip me by buying me a coffee, and trust and believe tips are always greatly appreciated, I'll leave that link in the description box as well. Aries, my loves, thank you so much for watching my video. As always, it is a privilege and an honor to read for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And again, thank you. I'll see you in my next video.